People woke up scrolling and saw the same headline everywhere. A comedy legend, suddenly gone. No warning, no build-up, just shock. Catherine O'Hara's name started popping up next to words no fan ever wants to read. And within hours, the internet had already decided the story was over. But here's the problem. The details didn't line up. Some posts claimed it was confirmed. Others said it happened quietly. A few even acted like this was old news that everyone somehow missed. And yet, when fans started digging, things got weird. No clear timeline, no consistent source. Just a flood of reposts, reactions, and people saying goodbye before anyone actually knew what was true. That's when the panic turned into suspicion. Because Catherine O'Hara isn't some forgotten name from the past. She's been active, visible, still working, still celebrated. So how did a story this big spread so fast? And why did so many people believe it without a second thought? What really happened here says a lot about the internet, celebrity culture, and how easily a legend can be written off overnight. And once you see how this rumor started, you won't look at breaking news the same way again. But that's just the beginning. It didn't start with an official announcement. It started with a headline, short, blunt, and terrifying. Catherine O'Hara, comedy legend, dead at 71. No context, no explanation, just enough to make people stop scrolling. Within minutes, that headline was everywhere. Entertainment pages reposted it. Fan accounts reshared it with broken heart emojis. Comment sections filled up with people saying goodbye, thanking her for Home Alone, Beetlejuice, and Schitt's Creek. The reaction moved faster than the facts ever could. And that's the key part. Nobody was asking questions yet. Once a few big pages shared it, smaller accounts followed. Blogs copied other blogs. Social feeds turned into echo chambers, each repost making the story feel more real than the last. If you saw it 5 times in a row, your brain didn't think, is this true? It thought everyone else already knew. That's how these stories catch fire, not because they're verified, but because they're emotional. Loss spreads faster than logic online. And by the time anyone thought to check where the headline actually came from, the damage was already done. But when people finally traced it back, the cracks started to show. Once the shock settled, a few fans did what most people don't. They tried to find the source. Not the repost, not the screenshot, the first place the story came from. And that's where everything started falling apart. The same names kept popping up again and again, but none of them were actually breaking the news. One site referenced another. That one pointed to a third. And the third, it didn't cite anything at all. No official statement, no family confirmation, just vague lines like reports claim or sources say, with no source in sight. It looked legit at first glance. Professional layout, serious tone, big words like confirmed sprinkled in. But when you stripped all that away, there was nothing underneath. Just repetition masquerading as verification. This is how modern celebrity rumors survive. Nobody lies outright. They just repeat. And repetition tricks the brain into thinking something is real. If 10 outlets say the same thing, it feels confirmed, even if all 10 got it from the same unverified post. By the time people realized there was no solid origin, the story had already escaped control. Screenshots don't update. Headlines don't walk themselves back. And once a rumor hits that level, the truth has to run twice as fast just to catch up. And then there was another issue that made the story even harder to believe. Here's where the story really started to crack. The timeline made no sense. For someone as public and respected as Catherine O'Hara, a real announcement wouldn't slip out through random reposts and half-written headlines. It would be clear, direct, and impossible to miss. But that never happened. There was no statement from her family, no confirmation from longtime collaborators, no word from the studio she's worked with for decades, not even a carefully worded message from a representative, just silence where there should have been certainty. And then there was her recent activity. Catherine O'Hara hasn't vanished from the public eye. She's been voicing characters, appearing in major productions, and giving interviews not that long ago. This wasn't someone who quietly stepped away years ago. She was still very much present. That's what made the rumor feel off. Hollywood doesn't ignore moments like this, especially not when it involves an Emmy-winning, globally recognized name. If something truly had happened, the response would have been immediate and coordinated. Instead, all anyone could find were recycled lines and broken trails leading nowhere. The more people looked, the clearer it became. This wasn't a story being confirmed in real time. It was and once that realization hit, a bigger question started to surface. Why does this keep happening to stars like her in the first place? This rumor didn't come out of nowhere. It fit into a pattern Hollywood has been quietly repeating for years. When a star crosses a certain age, especially women, the industry gets strangely comfortable pretending they've disappeared. If someone isn't constantly trending, starring in back-to-back blockbusters, or flooding social media, the internet fills in the blanks. Visibility drops, assumptions rise. And before long, people confuse "not everywhere" with "no longer here." Older actors are hit the hardest. They don't chase headlines the same way. They don't overshare their personal lives. So when their name suddenly pops up in a dramatic context, people don't question it. They accept it. The silence gets misread as confirmation. What makes it worse is how normalized this has become. Fans have seen so many legends quietly fade from the spotlight that a fake RIP headline doesn't feel outrageous anymore. It feels believable. And that's unsettling. Catherine O'Hara built a career that spans decades, genres, and generations. Yet the moment her name stopped appearing daily in feeds, the internet was ready to write the ending itself. And the cruel part, this kind of rumor doesn't just misinform, it rewrites someone's legacy in real time, which makes what happened next even more ironic. The idea that Catherine O'Hara had quietly faded away doesn't hold up for even a second once you look at the facts. Her career didn't slow down, it evolved. And in many ways, it reached a whole new peak later than most actors ever do. When Schitt's Creek arrived, it didn't just introduce her to a new generation, it reframed her entirely. Moira Rose wasn't a comeback role, it was a cultural reset. Suddenly, people who had never seen Beetlejuice or Home Alone were quoting her lines, copying her accent, and sharing clips daily. Awards followed, attention followed, and instead of cashing in and disappearing again, she kept going. Voice roles, guest appearances, major projects that proved she wasn't being kept around out of nostalgia. She was being cast because she was still sharp, still original, still impossible to replace. That's what made the rumor so jarring. This wasn't the legend quietly living off past success. This was someone actively choosing projects, shaping characters, and staying relevant on her own terms, which raises an uncomfortable thought. If someone with this much momentum can be casually written off by the internet, then this was never about her slowing down. It was about how quickly people assume a story is finished the moment they stop paying attention. Fake death stories don't spread because people are careless. They spread because the internet quietly rewards panic. Algorithms don't care if something is true, they care if it gets clicked, shared, and reacted to fast. And nothing triggers an instant reaction like loss. A headline with RIP or dies at forces an emotional decision. You don't pause, you don't verify, you react first because reacting feels respectful. Questioning feels cold. And by the time logic kicks in, the post has already done its job. There's also no penalty for being wrong. Most pages that push these stories never issue corrections, they just move on. Screenshots live forever while updates get buried. So even when the truth surfaces, the original lie keeps circulating, untouched. Creators know this. Some chase the spike on purpose. Others get pulled into it accidentally, reposting without checking because they don't want to be late to the moment. Speed beats accuracy, every single time. That's how a rumor turns into news, not through proof, but through momentum. And once it reaches a certain size, stopping it becomes almost impossible, which leaves fans with a final question. If this can happen so easily, how do you know what to trust next time? Here's the reality. Catherine O'Hara wasn't taken from the world overnight. What spread wasn't a tragedy, but a mistake that snowballed into something much bigger than it ever should have been. And that's the part worth sitting with. The internet didn't wait for facts. It didn't pause for confirmation. It rushed to close the book on someone who's still very much part of the story. Not because people are heartless, but because the system nudges everyone to react first and think later. This wasn't just about one actress or one false headline. It was a reminder of how easily narratives get written without permission, and how quickly legacies can be rewritten by strangers behind screens. So the next time a name starts trending with RIP attached to it, maybe don't ask how fast you can share it. Ask where it came from. Ask who confirmed it. Ask whether the story even makes sense. Because sometimes the real issue isn't that a legend is gone. It's how ready we are to believe it.